What's up everyone, Jughead's Journey here. Welcome back to our Let's Watch Hunter x Hunter series. Today we are going to be watching episode 88, Rock, Paper, Scissors, and Weakness. So without any further ado, tune in and watch alongside with me during my full, uncut reaction and stay for my deep analysis discussion afterwards. So, Hunter x Hunter episode 88 in 3, 2, 1. Let's watch this. Where are we picking up? It ended with Shoot watching them from a distance. Are they going to a fight or coming back from a fight? They can barely walk at this point. They're using walking sticks to keep themselves up. Shoot McMahon? That's a sick name. McMahon? So they're going to a fight. They're on their way to fight Knuckle. And we know from last episode, Shoot was thinking of doing something. It sounded like he wanted to attack Knuckle, but does he want to attack them? Is he a beast hunter as well? To be a Uma hunter. What is that? He looks scary. What is he reaching for? A blade? What is it? He's not gonna have a chance. Oh. Oh, is he a pussy? He's gonna let the chance slip through his fingers? Fucking shaking and sweating. He's a pussy. Both him and Knuckle are babies. Look at the defeated look on his face. Is he crying? Oh my god. He's a coward. So Knuckle's a softie, and he's a coward. What kind of teacher is Morel? What is this? Morel talks shit about these two kids when his two students, you got a pussy and a softie that cares too much about who he fights. Let me read that again. Because he's a softie. Because he's like Gon. He cares too much about those he fights. Doesn't want to kill them. Hey, he told you that last episode. Yep. He's too attached. But ooh, I wasn't even noticing. They can just have a casual conversation while maintaining their Ren now. I didn't even notice that. You know, hands at the hips, just like la-di-da-di-da. That looks like a JoJo character. Eventually, Knuckle will be forced to go 100%. That which they lack, that which they need. How much time does that give us left? Okay, only a day. Okay. She terrifies the fuck out of me. Nobody should be letting her have a knife in her hands. Those are like some Kurta eyes. Her little humming to go with the music. That was creepy how the... I forgot. if they don't do it, I'm gonna kill everybody in this room. So she's thinking of, okay, how the hell do I get out of here if this don't work? There's a little sliver of Bisky that doesn't know if Gon and Killua are gonna be able to do this. But that one shot right here, I'm gonna go back because I like that shot so much. Where the eye moves in the knife, right there. That's creepy as hell. Those red demon eyes. But damn, is she a good cook? Holy shit. Does Knuckle get to feast too? Compliment her cooking again? She's very uneasy about you two getting to do it. To get her into NGL. We need to comfort her and calm her down. Just like Gon did before. Where it's like, you can count on us. And that little heart thump thing happened. Where I think she has a crush on Gon. This. It'll be fine. We'll beat him. She's such a nervous wreck. Uh-oh. Dark cloud forming overhead. She's an anxious, nervous Nelly. She needs a chill pill. Ruining the vibes of this meal. How many times do I have to comfort you and reassure you? We whipping out the pinky promise? I want to listen to that again. A cute little song. Whipping out the pinky promise, and somebody actually touching her, being affectionate with her, grabbing her hand and being like, hey, it's gonna be okay. I have to swallow 1,000 needles. Look at that conviction, which she finds attractive, which she likes. We know that. Jesus Christ. What was that moan? What was that moan? This is a 13-year-old kid. And she's forming an attraction to Gon. Jesus Christ. That's the most action, the most physical affection she's gone in who knows how long. Ever? Good at handling palm. They're not even speaking, it's like telepathic. They know exactly what each other's thinking. Oh, look at her smiling, leaning in. Gon can even win palm over. That's saying something. Gon is able to calm her, chill her out, get her to smile, get her to moan. Who is this creep? Is that the chicken guy from Family Guy? You guys are chimera ants, and you guys are pretty stupid to be continuing to walk through this smoke. I guess if these guys don't understand that this could possibly be Nen and the powers that humans have, and they don't understand yet, while the squadron leaders would understand, oh, this is a power. Let's get out of here. And they're gonna be dropping one by one. Are we gonna start with the guy in the back? Move our way. Boom, 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 boom. Smoke is getting thicker. Are you all alone now? Time for you to drop through the floor. Oh! This combo is so good. Oh, we're dropping in multiple at a time. Look who's waiting. And I didn't even think about this, of how, you know, they're up on a cliff, who knows how far away from the action, and he can open up his portal from a distance like that. Him and, like, open up his pipe and the smoke goes. Makes sense, forms a fog. But I don't know, I wasn't thinking about the fact that Nav is whatever distance away, and he can, you know, use emission and conjuring, I guess, because he has to open the portal away from him, so that has to use emission. I'm still just trying to piece it together in my mind because they're on opposite sides of the chart. But help him build some confidence, get some reps in. And he can make a phone call inside the dimension. Oh. Oh! I was wondering where all the bodies go. Just a pile of dead bodies, severed limbs and heads, and... Okay, let's not be that oh, well, it's the queen. What is she gonna do? But the royal guards? Let's chill. I don't know if he's even ready for a royal guard yet. Only 14 left. What did they start with, like 28 or something? Some large number that they said? 40 or something? I don't remember. I forget, they have Nen, their aura nodes open, but they haven't even developed a Hatsu yet. NEFERPITOU has. We saw that, don't know what it is, but she hasn't shared that knowledge yet. I don't even know what cult is. Ramit is an enhancer, so that's kind of straightforward, whatever. He'll change the tides. There's the king. Ooh, you kind of get a glimpse of what he looks like. There's the head, body, and he has a tail. That's a tail for sure. Okay. He is going to be like Cell. If his design is pretty much going to be an homage to Cell, because I've talked about it before how much, you know, Togashi reveres Toriyama like a god. And I've compared the plot structure of the Frieza saga, Cell saga to this. This is still just such a weird, like she's just, you know, rubbing on her egg, just sitting there, tantalized and admiring the beauty of her work. Ooh, are they gonna be? Let's get Cookie-chan. No, I'm gonna let you do it at 100% rested. Time to beat him. But what about shoot? Defeat Knuckle first, then go for shoot? At least Knuckle likes to fight. Shoot is a coward. Yes, this will be the official fight. No trying. Get your escape plan planned. What the hell is she drawing? Gon and Killua dead. Wait, or is that Bisky and Killua dead? Because she likes Gon. She has a crush on Gon. Look at her. Now I'm looking forward to this. Is Knuckle gonna whip out his Hatsu? Is Gon gonna whip out his Hatsu? Now that Knuckle knows Gon's Hatsu and all the advantages are taken away now. And are they gonna go 2 versus 1 again, or 1-on-1? If Gon can defeat him by himself, cool. If Gon gets knocked out, then it's time for Killua to sub in. What the hell are those bugs on the wall, on the ceiling? Oh, that's what was holding up the egg. Did she molt? Oh! Oh, that's the Royal Guard. That's the last Royal Guard. What are the what the hell were these things keeping it up though? I never noticed that. Is that the queen and then she molted and her body held the egg? This is Menthuthuyoupi, which I'm just going to call Youpi because everybody told me in the comments that just use the last syllables of the names to go by it. So Pitou, Poof, and Youpi. Where the fuck did he get a violin from? What the hell is this? What is that? I was so taken aback that we got, you know, the guy playing a fiddle, playing the violin. Let me pause on this. What the fuck is this? Damn it. I paused at the wrong time. What the? There's no bottom. So this is... I don't know what this is. But here are fingers and hands. It's doing this. Is that Kite? Oh my god! Oh! He's a puppeteer. Give me the mouse, damn it. Whoa! He's being puppeteered. That's a puppet master. Is that what NEFERPITOU conjured? Rebuilt him. Both arms. I thought this was a chimera ant. I didn't notice. I was kind of wondering what this was, but I thought that was some weird chimera ant part. I didn't even think this was Kite. Both arms attached. Head attached. That's why he's looking like this. He's a puppeteer. A puppet master. Right there. Right there. Nen strings. Kind of like Machi. Clown. Look at the clown. So it is a puppet master. That's what NEFERPITOU created? That's how we... Wait. This doesn't fix him, though, because he still has his arm and head reattached. So was that surgery, or what was that? Was that also kind of using these Nen strings to reattach the limbs, or what? And is Kite actually alive, or is he a zombie being puppeteered? Look at that. Oh, my God. I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but I need to look at these frames. Look how I'm leaning in right now. Look at... Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. But I'd rather do this than to talk over the whole thing. Look how his body like he has no control. Like he's not even awake. He is a zombie. Look how his body moves. Like it's being pulled by strings right here. Look at that. How he, like... Yeah, he's all puppeteered. Boom. All the strings attached to all the joints on his body. This is a sick shot, though. Kind of looks like a xenomorph, though. Look, oh, look at the scars on his body. That was a sick shot. Where's Neferpitou? Oh, Neferpitou's not even doing anything. That's how powerful that puppeteer net ability is. She can just chill while the puppeteer does everything. Okay, that's Youpi. What the fuck? This looks like something out of Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, let's stick to Youpi. He kind of looks the most boring. He just looks like a buff demon. He looks like the Red Hulk. Holy shit, though. Zombie Kite. Yeah, where's he at? Because we have to defeat both of you. Yeah, under the assumption you're about to win one of them. Ooh, the confidence. You're pissing me off. Are y'all both going at the same time? Two people that care too much about who they're fighting. Gonna pop up behind him. He's quick too, though, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, block, 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 block. Just in time. Made him slide just like Gon made him slide last episode. So he has to use his Ren to operate his Ken. Gon's not going to be able to use his rock. He's not going to have time. No, 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 no. Move in, yeah, when you have the numbers. Just send me more people to train. You need better training, though. These are all weaklings. Morel, don't even start talking shit. Okay, so he's being reasonable that my students might be able to help. And when you're hunters, it's your own responsibility at the end of the day. He has to take care of his students, but he's even admitting, hey, they might die here, but that's the job of being a hunter. But you don't know anything about these two kids. I think it's going to be the opposite. I'm certain of it. Never be certain in anything. Oh, we're placing money down? Morel's going to lose. Because that Gon and Killua obviously end up here. How much are you putting down, Nav? I don't know how much is a lot in Jenny terms. Oh, 1 million? Okay. Look at that sweat. He's just that confident. Morel's obviously going to eat his words because Gon and Killua have to end up in NGL. And in terms of eating his words, what he said under the tree, you know, you're just kids talking down to them, and then they're going to walk into NGL and they're going to impress them, shock them at their growth. Oh, damn! Ah! God damn. You getting fucked. Oh! He kind of getting rocked. What? You won't be able to use that technique. It's flawed after all. Well, I know what the flaws are. I talked about it last discussion. Is his Hatsu going to be able to stop it? So his ability... I wonder if they're what I've already said. Or is this also implying that whatever Knuckles' ability is completely, you know, shuts down his opponent in a one-on-one match? That looks straight out of Cowboy Bebop. That's a thumbnail image right there. I'm not sure I can accomplish this mission without sacrificing someone. Ooh, shit. Who's gonna die? I think multiple people are gonna... Multiple people here are gonna die. But we shall see. So, let's discuss. Could be a long one today. There are only a couple obvious topics we have to cover and break down. The rest is pretty simple, but you never know with me. First of all, do you guys remember the last time I discussed how much I like Togashi subverting expectations, and what was that about? I remember going in depth about Togashi flipping certain stereotypes and tropes on their heads. I know one of them was Genthru, the stereotype of anime characters just standing there in like a 3-minute exposition cutscene explaining their abilities to the protagonist, which is meant for the audience, us, and how it kills all the momentum and immersion. But Togashi made that an actual mechanic in Hunter x Hunter, a condition required to actually make the ability of the main antagonist of the Greed Island arc, Genthru, even work in the first place. But I thought there was another thing, and for some reason, I can't remember at all. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but also not there at the same time. Something about how he flips things on their heads or subverts. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is Togashi does it again here with Shoot. Togashi, like I said, he has a taste for inversion. Togashi actually totally caught me by surprise and totally subverted my expectations for Shoot. Shoot has such a cool design. The purple hair in a angled ponytail, the gray, ashen, porcelain, ghoulish skin, sharp skeletal bone structure, flowing purple robe with that like blue accent piece wrapping around his neck. And remember when I was just a black silhouette of Shoot and Knuckle standing next to each other? I thought that was a weapon on his back, and then turns out it's just a piece of his garments. Nobunaga looks like such a badass, and I described Shoot as looking like and coming across like he could be Nobunaga's younger brother or something. When you see him, when you see Shoot, what adjectives do you think of? I think scary, dark, intimidating, imposing, troubled, sinister, things like that. Like he's a real killer. You know, I don't think anyone's throwing words out there like charming, kind, approachable, you know. I was expecting him to be the inverse of Knuckle, because that's the trope, isn't it? That's the stereotype. When you have two students, a pair, they're typically polar opposites, Naruto and Sasuke, Goku and Vegeta. Knuckle is the softie, the one who cares too much, who sheds tears at the slightest provocation. So I was anticipating Shoot to be the stone cold, calculating, emotionless killer with no hesitation or limits. The ending of last episode was tense, seeing Shoot hiding and watching because of that. But bam, Togashi completely subverts my expectations. He gets introduced as a coward. Shoot McMahon. He is a coward. 4 words. He is a coward. As he cries himself a river in the trees, lets Gon and Killua walk away. Even with both Gon and Killua exhausted, barely able to stand under their own power, leaning on walking sticks to keep putting one step in front of the other, he couldn't bring himself to attack or confront them. Was sweating bullets and then crying to himself. So you have Knuckle, the softie, and Shoot, the coward. And so, what the fuck was Morel talking shit for then under the tree? Looking and talking down to Gon and Killua, who were fighting an NGL against a threat obviously dangerous enough that Netero himself had to be called in, when he has a softie and a coward as students. And Netero vouches for these two boys to the point he went out of his way to set up a test for them, 2 13-year-olds, pitting them against Morel's students, who have to be at least early 20s, meaning Netero thinks Gon and Killua are equal to Morel's students, and Morel talks shit, knowing his own students, they got denied entry too. One is a coward, one is a softie, and like Morel must know these are his squad's weaknesses, hence why they got rejected. You know, they have to prove themselves just like Killua and Gon have to. So what the hell kind of teacher is he if he hasn't, you know, gotten that cowardice out of Shoot and got this softness out of Knuckle? Also, what is a Uma hunter? Knuckle just called himself a beast hunter. Shoot calls himself a Uma hunter. So what is Uma, or what does Uma stand for if that's an acronym for something? I guess I'll have to find out. And I like seeing and hearing Gon and Killua do their pre and post match analysis together, analyzing Knuckle, discussing the fight, what they felt, what happened, theorizing, like how they suspect Knuckle is only using half his strength. The two of them are able to carry on casual conversation whilst in the middle of their 3-hour Ren training. Last episode, they needed 100% focus. Could see them physically straining, struggling. And now they got hands in pockets, talking like, you know, there's just waiting in line at the store for something, just small talking, biding time, just chatting. But that's not a good thing. We see how far their bodies have internalized the basics and the fundamentals, how well they can train. But I know Togashi, and he always follows confidence with humiliation. Gon and Killua talk about why Knuckle, despite being so strong, even a physical match for Kite, would be denied entry into NGL. Gon asks, and Killua instantly has the answer. Like he could instantly piece together precisely why. And probably because Gon and Knuckle are more alike than Gon realizes or thinks they are. Gon doesn't see the negatives of Knuckle because it's the same negative Kite pointed out and was worried about. Knuckle's softness is Gon's blind spot because it resembles Gon's own ethic. Gon wouldn't see his negatives as negative, while Killua is on the outside looking in when it comes to this mentality, being very pragmatic and objective. Gon's brain is an engine that runs on values. Killua's brain is an engine that runs on patterns. So Killua can instantly point to that conversation the three of them had in the bedroom when Knuckle woke up, shared a little piece of his ideology, how he doesn't like the idea of cutting off what doesn't fit the mold, not wanting to judge something you've never seen before. You have to exchange blows first, essentially saying he doesn't want to kill something simply because it doesn't belong or fit the mold. Judge as in kill, exterminate, something he's never seen before or understood first. He has to encounter them first, face them, understand them before choosing what to do with them. We know last episode Killua very much didn't agree with that because he thought to himself, that'll just get Knuckle killed in the process. Killua blames Knuckle not being allowed into NGL on his mental. He's too soft because of what I just described. He feeds strays, adopts others' problems, helps rivals. His approach, his ideology doesn't run in line or congruency with the mission. We're here to exterminate. Even Gon is on board with this, unless he meets one that cares about his comrades, then that's a different story. But even Gon is, out to kill this invasive species. Killua points out how Knuckle gets attached to animals too easily. The pack of stray dogs he feeds only gets larger. The Chimera ants are animals. He cares too much about who he cares too much about who he fights. Even Gon had to agree with that. Even Gon pointed out how Knuckle, on his own volition, offered to help the two of them, his two competitors. What happens if Knuckle goes up against a cute or innocent-looking Chimera ant, like a Peggy or a Koala, or an extremely human-looking one, like Hina, or a Chimera ant that doesn't want to die and surrenders or begs for mercy? How is that going to work? Bisky hopes after all this training, the boys will be able to fight him fully rested, which will prompt Knuckle to give 100%, because she hopes that we'll be able to teach them that which they lack, that which they need. She wants Knuckle at full power so that the fight can expose the boys' real blind spots, and at the same time, teach them the exact qualities that will close those gaps. They need the reality check. All this training in Ren to increase their aura output, the confidence they have going into the fight, only to find their physical or nen weaknesses and experience be exposed and exploited. That which they lack are the specific weaknesses each boy has behind their will and talent, and will and talent, only take you so far. That which they need is what there's to gain from this fight. Knuckle at 100% will punish what they're lacking. Palm, oh boy, Palm starts to worry again, filling the room with her angst and anxiety and nervousness and tension. Gon tries to reassure her, telling her it's gonna be fine. She yelled, how can you be so sure? Gon, he oozes with self-confidence, certainty, optimism, positive attitude, everything Palm needs in her life to balance herself out. Gon is everything she needs and likes. And I like that quick line she even said in passing where she said, Gon told her it was all right for her to speak up, so she will. She likes that too. Not being talked down to or told to be quiet or made small. She's welcome to speak her mind. She's a contributor in this team. She says she understands if they decide to run away from her, to get away from her if they can't accomplish the task in time. But Gon tells her nobody's running away from her. Gon even gets a little upset with her. How many times do I have to say it? She must have a fear of abandonment, or not fear, but expectation of abandonment. She has to be constantly reassured and calmed down, and Gon makes sure to do that. But even here, he's like, how many times are we going to do this back and forth here? Gon resorts to the pinky promise, grabs her hand and wraps his pinky around hers. And while she's probably used to people running away, minimizing her, talking down to her, avoiding her, ignoring her, leaving her, not knowing how to deal with her or not bothering to, managing her emotions at arm's length, let alone touch her. Gon doesn't run away. He talks straight with her and directly to her, lets her speak her mind, sits right next to her, compliments her, knows how to calm her down, and grabs and holds her hand to make a pinky promise to her. To someone who anticipates being disappointed or being treated as a burden, Gon is probably intoxicating. A pinky promise. First of all, physical touch, physical affection she never receives. Secondly, such conviction and resolve and confidence, a man of his word, that he makes a pinky promise. We will beat Knuckle and shoot before the deadline, or else I swallow 1,000 needles. I wouldn't be surprised if she takes that literally, but I'm not sure if that's like an actual popular Japanese phrase, kind of like how I'm thinking of certain schoolyard oaths or little rhymes or things from childhood, on the schoolyard or the recess or playing with friends, how I would say, on so-and-so's life or on so-and-so's grave, I swear on so-and-so's, or like, I cross my heart and hope to die. Something like that. Those childish schoolyard oaths. And that's what Gon does, or else I swallow 1,000 needles. A childish schoolyard oath, but the seriousness behind it isn't childish. That's total conviction from Gon. And Gon seals the promise with a kiss, touching thumbs together. That might as well have been a real kiss on the lips to her. So intense, she moans like some moment of ecstasy, like orgasmic to her with a 13-year-old. Even Gon can win someone over like Palm completely. And this is another example for what I said earlier about how Togashi loves to invert things, has a taste for inversion. One of the things Togashi likes to do is invert adult and child roles. The kid stabilizes the adult. The adult craves the child's steadiness and charm with these romantic overtones she can't regulate. When you were younger, didn't you have like random weird crushes on like, you're watching a movie and you kind of have a crush on an actress or an actor on screen, or crushes on certain grown-ups like a teacher or a neighbor, or like someone random you see all the time, like a waitress, or at a restaurant you went to a lot. I don't know. I feel like that's super common, and that's why you see it in American shows and movies so much. But it's subverted here, where the adult has a crush on the kid. Instead of the kid having a crush on the adult, the adult has a crush on the kid. And Togashi plays that for laughs and even a little discomfort because, it's indecent. But it also treats Palm with sympathy too. Kind of heartbreaking, kind of continuing to worry me if she gets in. I care what happens to her, you do get sympathy for Palm. And after some more training, a rest, a big meal, Bisky grants Gon and Killua the chance to fight Knuckle for real at 100% to try and get his token. This means one chance. Win or lose, you accept the results. If they can each identify what they're missing, then the training was a success. That's what she says. Not just identify it, but hopefully identify it in the moment, in real time, maybe correct it. And so let's get into this fight itself. Kicks off after some verbal back and forth. Gon pounces first. Gon flashes behind Knuckle, about to strike him from behind, but Knuckle reacts in time, not to merely dodge or block, but get behind Gon, who is able to land a hit on him, which Gon blocks, like right at the last moment. He says Gon has to use Ken during his fight. If he even takes one punch from Knuckle without Ken, he'll get knocked out. And The only reason he wasn't knocked out by that first punch is because Knuckle had the courtesy to tell Gon, behind you. There is no way Gon was protecting his back. And the only reason Gon reacted in time is because Knuckle said, behind you, before throwing the punch, allowing Gon the split second necessary to block with his arms. Again, this is Knuckle caring too much about his opponents. He has to earn Gon and Killua's token, and he's making it harder on himself because he knows the gap between himself and Gon, and he wants to, he doesn't want it to be a slaughter. He doesn't want it to be too easy and done with 5 seconds. He doesn't want to, offend or treat it like an insult to Gon. Knuckle is also obviously trained in enhancement to be able to dish this kind of strength and damage to Gon, who is a natural enhancer. I don't think he's an enhancer, but he's obviously very much trained in enhancement to be doing this to Gon. Knuckle also tells Gon his Jajanken won't work against him. Not this fight, not today. Last fight it did, because Knuckle foolishly made the challenge to not move from where he was standing while, punch me as many times as you want. But now, Knuckle knows Gon's ability. He has exchanged blows with him, so he can judge him exactly what his ideology is. Knuckle can move around, dodge, hit back, use his own ability. It's all fair game because this is the real deal now. The actual match. They're both at 100% vying for the tokens. He tells Gon, you won't be able to use it this fight. Again, he's helping Gon, caring about his opponent, letting him know, don't try it. Knuckle calls it flawed. 2 huge weaknesses. If Gon tries it, Knuckle will stop it in its tracks. In a one-on-one, Gon better not try. And some of these lines of dialogue are clues as to what Knuckle's Nen abilities might be. Something that puts Knuckle at an advantage in a one-on-one situation, because there's no reason why he would specifically say in a one-on-one and not have that mean something. So like in a 2 versus 1, if it were Gon and Killua simultaneously, which they've done already as training, but he wasn't using his ability back then, his ability might not be as advantageous. So Knuckle likely prefers one-on-one duels. Doesn't really help me figure out at all what the hell his ability would be, especially when I don't even know what he is. But he points out 2 huge flaws. We don't know what they are yet. He's going to list them next episode, surely. But one of them has to be the drawback that I've been saying for multiple episodes now, ever since he first started using Jajanken in battle, which is how long it takes to charge up. Standing still, building up the aura in his fist, just a sitting duck showing exactly what's coming. I also don't know how much of Gon's aura is routed to his fist in that moment, saying, out of 100%, if 80 is in his fist, then only 20 is left to defend himself. I'm thinking that now because of, Gon even mentioned, I have to use Ken the entire time, because if I take any punch without Ken, I'm done for. So I'm trying to think he's very aware of how he has to redistribute and handle his aura. But I also don't even really know if that's how it works. I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at Gon's Jajanken that way of, he's moving all the aura to his fist and that leaves nothing to his body. I'm not really sure if that's how it works or if that's how I should be thinking. Knuckle is at least a decade older than Gon. He has the years, and with that, the experience and the training, years to develop his own Nen ability, and all these years under a Nen Master. I don't know how long he's been with Morel, but surely has to be multiple years. Surely longer than Gon has been with anybody. Longer than Wing, Bisky, Kite combined. Definitely. Gon is due to lose. I don't want Gon to be a character who always wins. I don't want that kind of protagonist, and I don't think Togashi would write a protagonist that way. Gon is due to lose. I just don't see why Gon should win to Knuckle. While I do see why Gon should lose to him. This is a perfect time for Gon to lose. Gon desperately wants to save Kite. Gon needs to get back into NGL. not able to. He loses. Gon does more training with Bisky, not enough, loses. Gon up against a character like Knuckle, who has everything going for him on his side, the way that Hunter x Hunter operates. He should lose. Gon can be strong and still weaker than Knuckle. Because how many times have we said that? Aura and power and potential is not everything. It's clear even from the beginning of this match that Knuckle has a plan. We know he's more experienced. He seems to have better understanding of himself and his opponent. For him to be confidently yet calmly telling Gon, hey, your Jajanken's not going to work. Don't do this. Don't do that. I advise against blah, blah, blah. Gon doesn't know Knuckles' Nen ability yet. Right in line with what he told Killua, that in NGL they'll be fighting ants, not knowing what they can do. They have to be strong enough regardless. Well, Gon is finding out right now how that's going to work. I think Gon is going to lose this match because he should. Like I said, I think he's due. This is a perfect time for him to lose. It's not good for Palm, who might go berserk, but I think Gon is going to win her over where she doesn't end up going crazy. She doesn't want to kill Gon because she likes him. These two are different, I don't know if she's going to end up actually going berserk. Bisky might run away. Bisky might flee. I don't know. But there's also Killua. Maybe Killua can defeat the both of them, Knuckle and Shoot, but I don't know. That would be kind of crazy, even for Killua. Even though Killua is insane, we know Killua is stronger than Gon, but that would just create a large gap between the two of them, and I don't know. Maybe Killua can beat the both of them. I don't know, or whatever. However Togashi writes this, I don't know, but I do think Gon is due for a loss. End the streak. I don't. Watch something like Hajime no Ippo. Is he supposed to win every single fight? No, he has to lose. Let's stay on Knuckle for a couple more minutes, because I was thinking about this too. Watching the slow extermination strategy continue to play out in NGL, I think Knuckle would not like at all what Morel, Nav, and Netero are doing. Their plan is essentially just leading lambs to the slaughter. When you consider and look at their strategy from the ants' point of view, put yourself in their shoes, this thick fog rolling in, taking out your vision and your sense of surroundings, out of nowhere, you like just you and your own comrades, not even an enemy in front of you, nowhere. Then out of nowhere, without even interacting with the enemy at all, a hole opens up underneath you and you drop into an empty, blank, brightly lit room that you probably can't even conceive of because it's technology, it's human made. You guys are chimera ants, just animals. Knee deep in your comrades' bloody, dismembered bodies on the floor with a human you've never seen before just waiting for your arrival, that's probably giving off immense aura, likely not even given a second to speak or react or defend yourself. Like the character that the camera focused on this episode, we see him sent to the Nen dimension. It cuts to a different scene, other stuff goes on, and when it cuts back to Netero in that dimension room, his decapitated head is on the floor. Knuckle would surely be entirely against this strategy of just butchering the ants without even exchanging blows or attempting to understand them. Not saying that's what they should be doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that is Knuckles' ideology as told to Gon and Killua, and this is precisely why him and Shoot were not allowed in, because one is a coward and the other cares too much. They don't want someone who might freeze in fear at the worst moment, and they don't want someone who might refuse to go along with the plan or just butt heads with them the entire time. Even Morel himself only thinks his students might be able to help. He told Nav, Knuckle and Shoot might be able to help, but the old man's kids don't seem too reliable. We can't count on them for anything in a fight. At best, they could be decoys, and they'd probably get in our way. I'm certain of it. So he's not even confident in how much his own students would be able to contribute. Not to mention he doesn't even bring up Palm at all, but he continues to talk shit about Gon and Killua. Is his pipe filled with crack? Is he smoking crack? It's not like Morel is doing any fighting of his own currently. You know, he's not proving himself. He's just sitting around blowing fog in between some trees. He also said he's certain of it. Certain Gon and Killua would only get in their way, that they wouldn't contribute at all to a fight. Doesn't that go completely against his own words he told to Gon and Killua? Doesn't that make him a hypocrite? Am I thinking about this correctly? He told Killua, the minute you start talking about who can win in a fight, you're wrong. Anything can turn the tables. You can't make assumptions. Yet Morel is making all sorts of assumptions. He literally said verbatim, we can't count on them for anything in a fight, when he hasn't witnessed them in battle for 1 single second. Doesn't know what their abilities are. Doesn't know a damn thing about them. He's talking about who can win in a fight. He's making assumptions. And his own students, again, consist of one coward and one, like, fucking conscientious objector. Also, did Knuckle go under Morel's wing because the two of them pretty closely align in their ideologies? Of course not fully, but there's a shared element there. Knuckle says you have to exchange blows with an enemy to understand them. Morel says you can't make assumptions and predict a winner in a fight. You would have to exchange blows. But Killua already dismissed Knuckles' opinion. It'll just get him killed. So, and Killua doesn't agree with Morel's ideas either. He said that at the restaurant when they're eating. You know, didn't Killua say he disagrees? Like, Morel's words did not, you know, affect him or, you know, resonate with him at all, you know, because that's when Gon talked about how he half agrees with Killua's opinion. Gon was saying, like, you know, they won't have the luxury to know their enemies, so they have to be able to survive with, you know, no matter the enemy or Hatsu. So if Knuckle is taking the essence of Morel's words and absorbing it into his own ideology, Killua thinks Knuckle's just going to get himself killed. So by extension, Killua thinks Morel's just going to end up getting his students killed. Morel's also not even a fighter or a warrior or like a primary assault hunter nen user. He's a support player. He's a support ally. Like if you were playing a video game, Battlefield, League, WoW, Destiny, whatever, he would be a support player. So why is a support player making end-all be-all statements when him and Killua do not align at all? Killua's a fighter. And Killua also experienced firsthand Pitou's aura. And it's bullshit to say Killua couldn't determine his fate from Pitou's aura alone, when he sure as hell could. He would be helpless. He knew that. Even just looking through his Gyo binoculars, Netero made the assertion Pitou is stronger than him. But we don't see Morel chiming in telling Netero he's wrong, you know, because that would be out of place. Of course he has to, you know, look down and talk down to, you know, a couple 13-year-olds. He keeps his dumbass mouth shut when other adults in the room are saying it. And how many other times have we seen other super powerful Nen users predict or calculate the chances between two Nen users or their own chances against an opponent, you know, sometimes purely just based off of their Nen abilities or their aura or what have you. You know, Zeno, he told Chrollo he would of course beat Chrollo in a fight because he could tell Chrollo didn't have killing intent. Machi told Hisoka it would be impossible for him to defeat Chrollo. Obviously, Kurapika and Uvogin is the clearest example of how you can't predict by aura display alone. And I'm not even saying Morel is in general completely wrong. I just think he's inconsistent in his own words, and he's kind of totally damn hypocritical to keep on yapping about Gon and Killua being useless when he's only met Gon unconscious, and he's only met Killua for a few minutes after carrying and saving his best friend from someone who undoubtedly would murder Morel and not even give a shit to resurrect his body. I wish Bisky would talk about this topic. I want to hear her thoughts on something like this, because she's an actual teacher. She's an actual mentor master. She would teach. Morel just talks, just chattering. This also just makes it so obvious that Gon and Killua are going to make it into NGL, are going to be alongside Morel and prove Morel wrong. Surprise him, make him eat his own words. You know, Gon, with his intense aura, is going to terrify Morel, like Gon has to so many others who have underestimated him. Genthru, Razor, says Gara, blah, 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 blah. That is what is totally predictable. Togashi is amazing, but I see this coming from a mile away. Lastly, we have to talk about NEFERPITOU's Nen ability. Is this what we saw in those last moments an episode or two ago when she was like, I know how to fix him. And then we saw a few frames of this purple aura and an abstract face popping out. That aura was purple. This aura is red. I don't know if that's supposed to signify, if that signifies that what happened then is not what we see now. She has insane bloodlust, so it makes sense why her aura is red here. And so that's also why I'm confused about the purple we saw an episode or two ago. We know Nen users can have more than one Nen ability. There's no reason not to believe the Royal Guards would have more than one. So it could be different ones. But I don't know. Especially when she said at the end of that previous episode, she knows how to fix him. Fix him. The puppeteer, I don't know if that counts as fixing him. That's just like playing with him. When she said fix, I figured she was talking about the fact that his fucking head and arm were detached. I thought she meant fix as in reconstruct. But then we see his head and arm are put back together on his body last episode when he's in the tank. And I don't know if she did that herself, like she's a mortician, or like she put the body back together herself, embalmed him. I don't know, 'cause he can still rot, right? Like his body's going to have to decompose at some point. Or if that purple aura was her hot suit solution to fixing him, whatever way she came up with as a Nen ability. Or I don't know, I'm trying to think. Either she put back the body herself, or that purple aura was her Hatsu solution to fixing him, or she put him back together herself, sewed him up, and her fixing him was not reconstructing, but him coming back to life to fight again. The idea of fixing him was him coming back to life. And so if that's the case, then the puppeteer did in fact fix him, because the puppeteer essentially brought him back to life. We saw it. And she doesn't even have to be the one controlling the puppeteer. She was just on the couch chilling, listening to Poof play the violin and watch Kite kill Chimera Ant grunts. I'm sure she has to give the puppeteer orders. You know, it doesn't just act upon itself or act upon free will. There isn't a single example of of a Nen beast acting upon its own accord with free will. So certainly she has to give it orders, and then it just follows through on those orders, however vague or specific or whatever. So Kite is essentially a zombie. He's a doll, Nen strings on his joints and limbs and core being ragdolled around. And I love the animation showing his limp body flailing as it's being tugged and pulled in every direction. His arms like pool noodles. And essentially he's essentially like an action figure being played with. He's a puppet, literally. So I'm also like, we only see a silhouette of him, and I want to see, do his eyes open? Can he speak? Does he still have Nen? Most of all, can he use Nen? Because he died. His soul and spirit energy, whatever you want to call it, is gone, along with, you know, his aura and Nen. Not even post-mortem Nen would remain, because why would it be around? He's not the type to have probably ever cared about setting that up. Or is he now just a physical fighter only? That would be boring for Pitou, though. He would only be a shell of who she once enjoyed so much fighting. So maybe she can lend her puppets some Nen, and the puppet imbues the puppets with Nen. I don't know. I imagine one of the obvious conditions of this ability is it can only be used on dead bodies, because that's why she created it in the first place, to keep fighting people who she defeated because it was so fun. Like, why would she want to puppet people who are alive? They're already alive and moving. It would also be a decent condition to get the ability to even work in the first place and be effective, because it would be way too overpowered if you could just puppeteer any being, alive or dead, without there being insane conditions to allow that to work and balance out the outcome with the sacrifice or the limitation or the risk. It's also a Nen beast, so it's conjured. So only Nen users can see it, which makes it kind of obvious to everyone what's going on. If they just see a corpse in front of them come back to life, but there's a giant red glowing puppeteer above him moving these Nen strings around, it would, like, that's such an easy target to attack if you can attack it. You know, I wonder if you could attack the Nen strings and sever the connection. I wonder if NEFERPITOU would employ the opposite strategy of Kurapika for this very reason. Kurapika conjures his chains, but also keeps them active and visible to everyone so that no one would know for sure what he is, and even assume he's a manipulator instead of a conjurer. If you can throw your enemy off even a little bit like that, because then opponents wouldn't use Gyo and see his invisible chains, and they wouldn't know the chains are actually conjured and therefore come with special abilities. Purely manipulated chains wouldn't have anything special about them, like the healing chain, chain jail, judgment chain, etc. So completely oblivious to what's about to happen. NEFERPITOU would be encouraged to do the opposite of what Kurapika does. Pitou would be encouraged to apply in to the puppeteer so that he's invisible to other Nen users unless they use Gyo, which would take aura away from the rest of their bodies and make them more vulnerable. And in would hide the Nen strings the puppet is attached to. If they can be attacked, you wanna hide those. And people would be thrown off or taken back by the fact, you know, someone that they thought was dead right in front of them was not really dead. Like, how the fuck is he coming back to life? Because you can't see the puppeteer. So it's like the opposite of Kurapika. He kept his conjuration purposely visible. Pitou would be smart to purposely hide it. And I also think it's funny. Pitou is creating Nen abilities that don't even necessarily benefit the hive or the queen or the king. She created a Nen ability here that just benefits her own entertainment. Also, where the hell did Poof get a violin? and instantly know how to play it. Who the hell was Poof born from? A concert violinist? An orchestral player? Like, what the hell is this? But like, seriously, where the hell did a violin come from? How did that even end up in NGL? Like, was it found in a village somewhere or something? Because pretty sure a violin is technology. And is he just playing the violin for the vibes? You know, he's on some Charlie Daniels Devil Went Down to Georgia action? Or is he channeling a Nen ability of his own somewhere somehow? I don't know. It must just be for the vibes, because he gives off that intellectual talent, prodigy, monologuing, self-aggrandizing type. And then Youpi was born. I'm calling him Youpi. I'm not calling him by that long-ass, dumb-ass name. The three siblings are together, if they even consider themselves that. Youpi looks like a Yu Yu Hakusho demon. He looks like straight out of Togashi's previous works. Also kind of like a Dabura from Dragon Ball Z. Like a mixture of the two. He's obviously gonna be an enhancer. That guy's just a fucking brute. Like I said in the reaction, he's like, this is Red Hulk. His abilities are gonna be all enhancement, you know, destruction based. Like fucking, again, a Hulk reference, gonna be like World War Hulk. Like, it's gonna be that. Uvogan on PCP. Now that the three royal guards are born, but you can then see the three royal guards together seem to cover all facets, all avenues of strength to be able to protect the king. NEFERPITOU is instinct and mania. Shy Poof is intelligence and calculation. And Menthuthuyoupi is pure aggression. So together they cover all bases. And so next episode, I am anticipating Gon is going to lose. Killua might be able to pick up the slack. I don't know if he's going to be able to beat both of them. I want to see more Kite. What the hell's going on with him? But it'll be interesting. I have to see where this goes. If Killua and Gon get denied entry into NGL, what happens with Palm? Is Bisky running away? Where is Shoot going to come out of the trees? I don't know. But that's where I'm going to end the discussion today. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop if you haven't already. Keep the conversation going down in the comments below. Check out my Patreon for exclusive reactions and unedited reactions, early access. Having said all that, and with that said, so long, until next time, thank you, have a good one, peace.